All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the final episode of the Hibbeler Effect in season 1, of course. There will be more, guys, but we got to make this film. And speaking of this film, there's a man that I have just kind of found out about in the recent months, and he made many, many books on this topic, and they're all available for you. The links will be in the description to support this man. And I really am, I feel like this is a pleasure. I'm being treated with the honor of Mr. David Ewing Jr. Thank you for coming on the show, David. I know you're a busy man, but thank you. Welcome.
Yes, nice to meet you, Sean. Yes. Just call me JR. In America, everybody knows JR Ewing. You can call me JR if you like.
Okay. No, that's yeah, but see, in terms of David Ewing Jr., now a lot of the YouTube videos go around and Rumble and different videos where people are making these old world videos, and then they'll hear some of your voice. You know, we'll hear your voice, whether you're on an interview or something else, a show. A lot of people use your voice and make these collages and stuff. And it's always like, this guy seems so intelligent, so much wisdom. And once I started to look at some of the stuff you were doing and saying and stuff, I was very intrigued. I'm glad that we linked up, because you have a lot of research into this category. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I've published 20 books at the moment, and they're in over 30 languages. That includes languages like Korean. Hong Kong has a different written format, and Taiwan, Japanese, Indonesian, Vietnamese, Persian, Turkish, Bosnian, Croatian, Portuguese, Arabic, Russian, Ukrainian. So my books are in over 30 languages. Yes, it's because the thing is, this is a very big, serious topic about world history. Yeah. Now, the thing is, my books are titled, I've sent you a picture showing it.
Yeah, I'm sharing the screen right now, David. I don't know if you can see it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I can. Yeah. Yes. They're labeled Tartaria. And the thing is, I focus on history. I've made my books very simple so that anything I say, I put the references immediately within the same paragraph instead of at the end of the book. Now, at the moment, people are looking for history. And the thing is, there's millions of people who are looking everywhere. It's because many people don't believe. I'll give you an example, and you are going to be like totally shocked about what you're going to see now. And you'll think, I can't believe this. Like, there's a mainstream media.
I want to be shocked. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, have a look at this. Now, here they're trying to show that they've found secrets in archaeology. Look at this video, 2.5 million views.
Give me 1 second.
So this shows you an example. This is in the English language. But now let's go to the Taiwanese and Chinese language. But subtitles or the writing in Taiwanese and Hong Kong language. Just have a look at here. Here's somebody who's posting videos about lies in history in the New World Order. This particular video has 1 million views. So it's showing the Chinese one. Yes, has got 1 million views. So it shows there's people all over the world who are right now who are looking for the truth.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And here is from France. Somebody's made a video to show Napoleon Bonaparte did not exist. I've written a book about this called Napoleon Did Not Exist. And okay. Here, this video has 1 million views. It's in the French language. The thing is, so it shows many people don't believe in history anymore. Let me send you an example. Here is in Greece. My books are in Greek as well. This is just one video. It's got about 250,000 views. So there's hundreds of videos going around in Telegram, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and they're in many different languages. It's because at the moment, many people just want to know what the hell is going on. Yes, and people know that something is wrong with world history. Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. The timeline doesn't add up. The official narratives of a lot of things before the 1900s started. It's kind of laughable though when you actually look at it, and with a open mind and use common sense. Sometimes, guys, sometimes common sense helps. You look at even common sense, you go, this makes no sense. And I think that's why people are questioning things now more than ever, right, David?
Yeah, common sense is not enough. I will explain to you why. It's now they're doing it, but after September the 11th, many people did it. And like there's many videos. It's like, as I've shown you, there's hundreds of thousands of views. It's like many people have made videos of me in the French language, in the German language, in the Russian language, in the Turkish language, in the Persian Iranian language, in the Indian language, in Indonesian language, in Japanese, in Chinese. So this is why I've made a totally different approach in how I'm presenting the history. I wrote my books to write them in simple language, almost like they're high school textbooks from somebody aged 12, 13, 14, or 15, so that people can see the simple big things that are wrong with history. And then from there, people can move forward. Because the thing is, if you look at the way the truth has been presented, like for example, there was the 911 was an inside job organization. They had many protests.
Oh yeah.
What did they achieve? Many people will say they achieved nothing because nothing changed. The protest started 20 years ago. 20 years ago, they lasted for many years. Many people made videos. Many people became famous. They lasted around 5 years. They come and went. Many of these people had PayPal, Patreon, and other things. People made money from this. It was like a business. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So so the thing is, even in the other side of the world, people are making money from it. Now, there have been a few people who made big advances. Now, especially in Europe and America, many people will not be aware of this, but now many people call this subject Tartaria or the mud flood. Now, these titles came because there was a Russian professor from Moscow State University who wrote about the history of the world and showed it's utter nonsense, it's a total joke. And he showed something to do with astronomical calculations. Now, Wikipedia will say astronomical, but I mean, for us, the common layman, we will call it the Kabbalah mathematics, or we'll say Illuminati mathematics or Masonry mathematics. What they've done is they've totally falsified world history, and they've totally invented world history, and they've organized everything mathematically.
Couldn't agree more. I wanted that. Well, real quick, David, before you get into that, I wanted to, for the people looking at the cover of your book, where are you, and what is the official narrative of those buildings behind you?
Right, that is, I'm in Moscow. Yes. Yeah. And obviously outside St. Basil's Cathedral. Now, because we speak English, we are going to say Basil's Cathedral. But if you went to Russia, the people will say Vasily. Vasily. Yes, but then the thing is, this same name you will find they're using in Saudi Arabia. And they will say the king of Saudi Arabia 50, 60 years ago, he was called King Fasil. Fasil, and in Russia they will pronounce it Vasily. Now in England we're going to say Basil. Yes, so the thing is, because I've been to more than 2,500 cities, that's a world record for the number of cities. Like, for example, somebody,
wow.
Yeah. So somebody can say they've been to Russia, to Moscow and Petersburg, but to understand Russia, you've got to go to at least 100 cities. Somebody can say they've been to China and say, I've been to Hong Kong, Beijing, or Shanghai. But because China's population is 1 billion, you need to go to over 200 cities to go around the place, and hundreds of villages. So the thing is, I've been traveling around and been going to many places. And when you go to many places, you obviously, the first thing you realize is the difference in the peoples, the architecture, the languages. And then I'm one of them people, I like mixing with people everywhere I went. It's like the world is my home. Yeah. Yes.
It is. But real quick, behind you, what's the official narrative on that? I want the viewers to really get a grasp of, because I know everyone sees those buildings behind you and everyone has their pre-assumed thoughts of how long that's been there. What's the actual official story? When was this supposed to be built? Right.
Now, the thing is, I don't want to focus on just that one building, because the entire area of Red Square has got falsified history. Yeah. It's like, for example, because you've asked, I don't want to state it, without giving direct evidence. Now, the thing is, in my book, Napoleon did not exist. Napoleon and the French have got a lot to do with Moscow. Yes. The thing is, if people start looking at when was something built and everything, they are not going to understand the history very much. Now, the first thing is, this is in my book, Napoleon did not exist. Now, if anybody goes through it, I'm going to send you pages from this book, then people can have a look at the book itself. Instead of me giving a temporary explanation which could distract people. Now, this is Moscow City, the picture that I've just sent you.
Yeah, it's up.
And they claim that Napoleon Bonaparte went to Moscow. So, and they say he invaded Moscow. Yes. So now let me just show you what the history, what they tell us about this place, this square, and this place of Moscow. Now, I put it in my book in simple writing that when you see this, you'll say, oh my God, this is very simple. Even children can see that the history is a lie. So historians say that Moscow was burnt in 1812. Napoleon Bonaparte witnessed it and he invaded the place and he went to this Kremlin. The Kremlin walls are around that building and the Kremlin is just on the other side of the wall. And they say the Moscow fire started on 14th of September and it was over by the 19th of September. Now, the Moscow Kremlin is even more suspicious. So now the fire is over by the 19th of September. So now the Moscow Kremlin walls, whoever designed them or modified them, has made sure that the Kremlin walls has got 19 towers. Yes. Wow. So now the next thing, okay, let's look at the Moscow Kremlin walls that are just beside this building, St. Basil's Cathedral. The Kremlin wall reaches a height of up to 19 meters. So now Napoleon Bonaparte realizes everybody who lived in Moscow, everybody is gone, and they burnt the city when they went. So this is in my book. So now then Napoleon's just arrived in Moscow and he says, hey, there's nothing here. Yes, so I'm going to go now. What am I going to do? Who am I going to fight? There's nothing to defeat or destroy. They've burnt the place. So he started retreating on 19th of October.
Okay.
You see?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So if somebody's going to turn around and say, what is David talking about here? The thing is, I can't explain this in a few minutes, but
of course.
But the thing is, if anybody goes through the history of Napoleon Bonaparte, the major mathematics, the Kabbalah, yes, or astronomical calculations that Fomenko pointed out, is very serious how they mathematically invented history. Napoleon Bonaparte became a soldier when he was 19 years old during the French Revolution. Now, who was Napoleon Bonaparte? Yes, Napoleon Bonaparte, yes. Let's see, he was accepted to be, let's say, like a noble person, like from part of an important family. And he was officially recognized to be a noble person, his family, on the 19th of August, 1771. The more that people go through this, they're going to turn around and think, what the hell's going on? And then if you go to France itself, let's say if you go to France, to Paris, they have Bastille Day for the French Revolution, and Napoleon, after that, seized power. After that, in Bastille Day, what they do is that they have a parade in France, and the parade is done on a road called Avenue des Champs-Élysées, and this is 1900 meters long. And then the parade ends at the Place de la Concorde. It's a beautiful parade. They have this every year. And it's exactly, Place de la Concorde is 19 meters, 19 acres in land.
Wow.
Yes. And then everybody will turn around and say, hey, there was these Muslims who attacked. Was it Muslims? I think so. Yeah, that they did the Bastille Day attacks, like September the 11th attacks in 2016 to spoil it, and they attacked it with a famous
no Muslims did it in 2001, but I get what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So now the thing is, the Bastille Day attacks were done with a 19-ton truck. Yeah. Right. So the thing is, but then since you mentioned 2001, okay. Now the thing is, the book that I was mentioning is Napoleon Did Not Exist. But because you've mentioned September the 11th, I have a book called The Alpha and the Omega Codes, and this is Very important what you've just said. September the 11th. Now, many people, yes, have mentioned this thing, but the thing is, I'm going to go, this is in my book, The Alpha and the Amiga Codes. I'll send you the front cover so that you can have a look.
Yeah, you can send me any copy of any book. I'll put, or do you have like an actual website with all your books so people could take a look at them?
Let me explain to you now.
Okay.
The thing is, I don't have a website. I've published the books. They're in 30 languages. It was a very difficult job, for example, to get the books past Chinese regulators and Japanese regulators, French regulators, British regulators. So the thing is, in every country, there was certain information that after their moderators went through, there were certain things that I couldn't publish. Even, for example, the books are published in Estonia. So the books are all available in Amazon or anywhere. They're available in almost everywhere, in the Bibliothèque Nationale, the Global University Library. If you're a student, I think you can access it free. The thing is, so the books are available everywhere. I don't have a personal website.
Okay.
I actually have lost control and the rights of many of the books because of the publishers and because of the translators. Obviously, I don't speak 30 languages. Well, there's more than 30. Soon the books are going to be in 50 languages because I started writing about 2.5 years ago. There was over 1 million downloads within 1.5 years. By the end of this year, there's going to be 2 million downloads worldwide.
Wow.
Yeah. There's
Congrats.
20 books. So when you calculate 20 books in 30 languages, that's about 600 books. So the thing is, it looks like a lot, but when you divide 2 million books into 30 languages, what you get is 6,000 books per language, and then divided into 20 books. It's like about 400 books per language. Per language. So it sounds like a lot, 2 million, but it's not really. Yes.
Yeah, no, I get it. There's so a big chunk, a huge chunk of the world has no idea what we're trying to talk about right now. They have no clue.
But anyway, let me tell you about September the 11th, because this is very important.
Whoa, David, before we get to September 11th, because I mean, I do put a preview of my show on YouTube because I don't want to. I already got 2 strikes, so let's save that to the later half of the show where it's on other
strikes.
Yeah, I got 2 strikes.
It will just take 2 minutes. It will take 2 minutes.
All right, no trigger words. That's all. No, don't say box cutters or nothing like that. About the official event. That's all. Go ahead though.
Okay. Oh, don't worry. Okay, so now I'm just going to state facts. According to the 9/11 Commission report, 9/11 happened. It was done by 19 hijackers. Yes. According to the 9/11 Commission report, this is in my book, Alpha and Amiga Codes. Yes, what do you call it? At 19 minutes past 8 in the morning, there was reports the aircrafts had been stolen. Yes. According to the 9/11 Commission report, yes, the Pentagon and the US state, the authorities, yes, they took action at 19 minutes past 9. According to the 9/11 Commission report, the investigative committee, yes, created by the state and George Bush, they had 19 days of hearings, yes, like a trial, basically. Yes, according to the official report, yes, when 9/11 took place, there was a maximum of 19,000 people inside the Twin Towers. Are you beginning to see what I'm talking about? According to the official report, yes, they found 19,000 fragments of human bodies. Yes, at ground zero. Are you beginning to see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I made a documentary on 9/11.
And there's more. Now, the thing is, I've just given you about 4 or 5 facts. My books go through hundreds of facts showing that, hey, it's got something to do with the number 19. Now, you'll say, what's he talking about, 19? By the way, 19 is the 33rd degree in many secret organizations, political organizations around the world. The communists use it. Muslim organizations use it. Christian fraternal organizations use it. Other organizations linked with Masonry, they use it.
Oh, of course.
Now,
They use it in everything, especially when COVID started. It was like 33 cases, 33. I mean, it's all it was,
okay.
you know.
I will explain to you. I will do this very fast because some people will say, what is 19? And 19 is the 33rd degree. Now, you will say, what are you talking about? How come nobody knows about this? It's because the average person doesn't study mathematics or geometry. Now, here is the flower of life. Now, the flower of life has got 19 circles. Now, the 19 circles, when you decorate them, you get, the thing is, you will get 6 yellow circles, 6 green circles, and 6 red circles, and they call them flowers. So now, these 19, these 6 colors are actually known as the 666 in sacred geometry. Now, the thing is, what many people don't know is this. Yes, the flower, what's it called again? The flower of life. Yes, within it, from the center of all the flowers, it forms a cube, or the Kaaba, or the Kaab Allah. How the Muslims say the Kaaba in Mecca, and Allah means God.
Yep.
The cube, Kaaba, or the house of God, or the secret knowledge of God. Yes. Now this, when you look at this, when you create this 3-dimensionally, yes. Now, in the second dimension, there is 19 flowers. In the first dimension, it's a 1 and a 9. I'll explain this in a minute. In the third dimension, it becomes 33, the number 19. Yes. And you will say, how does it become 33? Now, I've sent you a picture. It shows the 19 flowers in the flower of life, 19 circles, how they become 3-dimensional. Yes, and then when you count the 19 flowers and put them together 3-dimensionally, when it becomes alive, when the flower of life is alive, because we live in the third dimension, there is exactly 33 circles. Now that is the flower of life. Now now maybe you will say, what is this? Yes. Now the biggest shock in the world that is going to be made now, 19. What is 19? Now, I've said this to many people before, and this is the biggest shock. 19 is the name, mathematical representation of the name of God, or the Alpha and the Omega. Now, Alpha is the number 1. I've sent you this. This is in my book, Alpha and Omega Codes, and in the Matrix Codes. Alpha is the number 1, and Omega is represented as 9, or the end. Yes, so it's the Alpha and the Omega. Yes, let me just show you the matrix codes. It's explained in detail in the matrix codes. Yes.
Okay.
In the matrix codes, the book called The Matrix Codes, it goes through the codes, how the 33rd degree. It starts from the Alpha and the Omega. If you're basic, you start off with the Alpha and the Omega. This is how you will start it off. Yes, and the Alpha and the Omega. Let me just show. You'll find it all over Europe. Yes, it's in churches, cathedrals, and many things from medieval times. And this is the symbol for the name of God in Europe. Today we use the word God, yes, but people for centuries in Europe, they used the Alpha and the Omega. Now, the thing is, what many people are not aware of, yes, is if you look at the Alpha and the Omega in, let me just show you, let's open Wikipedia. The Alpha and the Omega, when you're writing it down, the Alpha and the Omega actually looks like, let me show what it looks like.
Sure.
Okay. Where is it? Oh, I can't believe this. I'm just getting it out because I don't want anyone to say, David's just guessing here. This is speculation. That's why I normally send evidence.
Anything on Wikipedia is obviously speculation, but you've done your research. You're not. I want my audience to know you're not just pulling up Wikipedia
I've just
shit.
sent you a picture. That's not Wikipedia. That's actually in England.
No, that's why I was telling my audience, Dave, like because you kept saying Wikipedia.
Yeah, so here is a church in England called the Round Church. It's pretty old, from the Middle Ages. Yes, and the thing is, the Alpha and the Omega, how is it written? You can go to churches throughout Europe and you will find that the Alpha and the Omega is written like this. When you write it in your handwriting in the documents, the first is the letter A, and the second one is the Omega. And now people will say this spells the name Elah, because they will say Christ, when he was on the cross, he prayed to God and he said, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. Yes, Christ. And they say Elah is the name of God according to the church and according to what we're told, yes, in Christianity. Or in the West, what we're told in our side of the world, we are told that the Alpha and the Omega, yes, spells the word Elah, yeah, because the top character that I sent you is A, and the bottom character is the letters L. But if it's the letter A, how can it spell Elah? The letter A is the letter A. So now the strange thing is, yeah, what I found out and what I noticed, that nobody seems to be talking about, yes, is that the truth is, when I travel around the world, I noticed straight away when I went to Middle East countries 20 years ago or something, I thought, hey, this symbol for Allah in the mosques is exactly the same as the Alpha and the Omega. Yes? And they say Allah, and they say, yeah, so the Alpha and the Omega is an A. Alpha has never been the letter E. So it's not Elah. This is one lie that they did to divide us from the other side of the world so that then we won't know. And why would they change it anyway? Yeah. You know, I don't know why. Nobody seems to think, how can it spell? It seemed like saying, my name is Andrew, but, you know, it's spelled with the letter A, but you pronounce it Indru. And I'll say, no, it's not Indru. It says the letter A, Andrew. Yeah. So the Alpha and the Omega, it says Allah. It does not say Elah at all. So these are the scams. So now let me tell you in the matrix codes I've put this. So the Alpha and the Omega, what I've sent you is how they used to draw it. They used to draw it in a circle, normally with at the center of the flower of life. And they still do this in the Muslim countries. We don't seem to do this in our side of the world anymore. You know, many people, we don't even believe in God in this side of the world anymore.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I always say, the Big Bang Theory, heliocentrism, there's a lot of things turning these old buildings into churches that are teaching bullshit. That's why the Western, in my opinion, that's why the Western world is dumb as it is, because the indoctrination camps. It's the indoctrination camps. That's what does it, and that's why we're here.
I'm glad you've said that. But anyway, the thing is, the Alpha and the Omega is in the book, The Matrix Codes, so people can check it. But because you mentioned churches, this is very important, and many people immediately will go to churches and think, hey, they're Christian. This is what we're going to assume. Now, what many people don't know is that basically every church in the United States, Canada, Australia, Europe, you name it, anywhere has been modified. Now, let's look at the famous churches, Chartres Cathedral, Cologne Cathedral in Germany. Now, the thing is that this is a picture of Cologne Cathedral. Now, many people won't realize is that people don't investigate. But Professor Anatoly Fomenko, he pointed out saying, hey, these churches were not churches. And now there's many people talking about free energy towers, everything. They've got to think again, because many people many videos are just being made by many people who just want to make money. Now, the thing is, if there is a cathedral there, it wasn't free. People had to work. If there is some type of energy that they're harvesting, they put these things there. People were working. It wasn't free, same like we're working today. Yes, this is just a big lie. Many people are trying to profit from it. Now here is Cologne Cathedral. Here's two photographs, two photos and images from the 19th century. One is from the first half of the 19th century. This is in my book, Mudflood. And the second picture is from the second half of the 19th century. Now, Cologne Cathedral, for example, it was built higher. It only had the first floor. Then they added the towers. Then they added all the statues. Then they added all the Christian decorations. So there is no evidence that it was a church in the first place. These buildings, they only had one ground floor, just the ground floor. And then they added the second floor on. Now, Professor Fomenko pointed this out, and his books, he's written thousands of words and pages. So the thing is, I thought I'll go check it out while I'm traveling. So in the last 20 years, I checked many churches out, and you can actually tell that basically in all the churches that they've raised the second floor. So that means the original church only had the first floor. So then when I went to places like Egypt and to Israel, Palestine, and to India, and to other places where they've got these Muslim churches. Now, in the Muslim cathedrals, I noticed that the Muslim cathedrals only have the first floor, but they've added big, huge domes on the top instead of the second floor. You see?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes. Now, the thing is that I'll give you an example that the Muslims have modified these buildings, and they're going to say, "Oh, these are mosques. They're genuinely mosques." I've been having many rows with many Muslims, saying, "Hey, look, the old photographs don't show these domes. They don't show anything gold there or anything. It's just a forgery." And then they're absolutely shocked. But anyway, the thing is. When you have a look at some of these, let me just show you one in India. For example, in India, there's a Gothic cathedral. Let's say, for example, let me just send you an example of a Gothic cathedral.
Take your time. Take your time. Well, this I've seen this one here before. This is an amazing old building right here, guys, and this. There's a lot of buildings like this, even in the States, guys, that they'll tell you that they'll say it was built in 1915, 1902. It's just bullshit. Oh, yeah. But let's keep going.
You know what? Did you ever wonder why it's 19 or the 19th century?
Oh, yeah. 19. Back to 19.
Yes.
360-degree Mason vampire piece of shit that's trying to run the world.
Yeah. So 19 is is the second dimension of the 33rd degree. The first dimension is 1, and then you go to 9, the alpha and the omega. Now, in the second dimension, it's like first you have a seed. My books explains it. Now, the seed of life is 1, and it goes to a maximum of 9 in Masonry or whatever you want to call it, the Kabbalah. Yes. So this is the first dimension, a seed. And then the seed grows, it starts becoming a flower. Now it's got 19 petals. Then the flower comes to life and it blooms, and you can see it 3-dimensionally. And that's when it's 33 and it forms the cube or the Kaaba in Mecca.
Okay. Now, and then this building, real quick, this building we're looking at here, what would the general public assume?
What would it look like? I'll show you what it would look like, because here is a picture of Sidi Syed Cathedral in India. Yes, and Sidi Syed Cathedral, they're going to genuinely say it's a mosque. Yeah. Let me just show you. Let me just show you what it looks like on the outside. I saw many of these cathedrals in India and in other places, and the strange thing is, the thing is. You'll see them, and they just have the first floor. The thing is, but they're going to tell you these are mosques, and then the big domes on them. There's one on top of the Temple Mount in Israel, in Jerusalem. Many people will call it Palestine and say, don't call it Israel. Some people will say, don't call it Palestine, call it Israel. But the thing is, there's a similar building over there. And these places, they're going to say, these Gothic buildings, oh no, this is a mosque. Now, the one that's there in Al-Aqsa Cathedral, that's on the Temple Mount, if you go inside it, the thing is, they've converted it into a mosque, and you'll see Muslims praying there. Now, the ones in Europe, you'll see Christians praying there, and they've converted them into churches. Yes. The thing is, but if anybody checks the old photographs, you will see almost all of them, not a single one had these Christian statues or Muslim decorations.
And then, I'm glad you brought that up, because now, as I've been researching this, obviously not as long as you, not even close, but as I've been really heavily researching this lately, it feels as if they like some, not all, of course, selective buildings, old world buildings that they just added shit to. They threw a plastic cross on top or tried to match it to the color, and that's it. And that's it. And people, that's an old church. Like, no, they just put that on there in probably the early 1900s or mid 1900s and called it a church. But that's been there for a long time.
Now the thing is, it's because we live in Europe and America. what they've done is that they made us hate India into thinking, hey, they've got these, all these idols, all these strange things. But these Indian temples, many of the old ones in the interior, are exactly the same like Gothic cathedrals, Gothic construction, many Hindu temples. Now, they've also made us think that we can't look towards the Islamic world, but those buildings are the same. And you can actually find photographs of their modification, 1880s, 1920s. You can find it. My books goes through them. But now the main thing is many people are going to dispute this. Now, do you know what the best thing is? In my books, I've shown how they've used Kabbalah mathematics, Kabbalah. They didn't call it Kabila or the Kabbalah because they know the Alpha and the Omega is Allah. It is not Ella or Elah. It is not. That's why it's called the Kabbalah. Yes?
Yeah.
So the thing is, now the Kabbalah, now many people, many people will not want to examine the Kabbalah. Now, to understand the Kabbalah, yes, we will never understand the Illuminati or the Kabbalah or anything that's going on without studying the heart of the Kaab and the Allah. Now, the heart of the Kaab and the Allah, I've sent you a picture. Yes, this is the city of Mecca in Saudi Arabia. And they turn around and say, Saudi Arabia, yes. Now, this is the cube in Saudi Arabia, yes, which is not a normal cube. They call it a cube, but actually it's a different cube. It's a four-dimensional cube. If you look at it, now somebody will say four-dimensional. Yeah, I forgot what the name of. I think Tesseract. Yes, whoever designed this, yes, is actually very clever, very smart, and mathematicians. Yes, and what many people don't know is that the Muslim leader. Let me just send you the Tesseract, because then you will think, oh my God, this is the fourth dimension. Fourth dimensional mathematics. Okay. Now, the way this Kaaba is designed for the fourth dimension. Now, whoever did this must have been very, very, very advanced or very illuminated. Yes, that the most advanced form of Kabbalah, or what we call Kaaba, that is the Kaaba, the Muslims will say, and the Muslims will say it's to represent, temple or a church or a cathedral or a house for Allah. Allah is the Alpha and the Omega.
Yeah.
Yes. So now here is a picture of a tesseract. Now you will notice the roof of that building has been designed so that it goes in. It's actually like that. Yes. Now what is even worse? Now this becomes absolutely suspicious. I'm currently writing about this. I've not finished this. Now, the thing is, I've mentioned this, but this is totally just astounding that even I don't know what to say. But there's many Muslims now who are turning around and saying, is this really the house of God? What about the location? Now, the strange thing is, now, whoever chose this location did it in such a way that is going to totally shock you. Now, here is what do you call it? Yes, it shows a map of the world. It doesn't matter if you want to say it's a globe or if it's flat. But let's have a look at
it does matter. But go ahead.
I'm saying because the picture shows it round. Yes, it shows it round, but with a flat model. Yes, and then it shows both, just in case you want to dispute.
Yeah, it's a very confusing thing, but go ahead. I want you to explain it anyways, man. Obviously, nobody watching this thinks that they live on a Santa ball, but you could still go ahead and continue.
Now, the strange thing about this Kabbalah, or the Kaaba of Allah, or the Kabbalah mathematics, yes, the location of this Muslim building, if you go to the center of the North American continent, and the center of the South American continent, and the center of Australasia, Australian continent, and the center of Antarctica, the furthest point, what they've told us, the South Pole, basically, yes, or the center of the continent, maybe not the South Pole, is actually the center between the 4 points. This is one strange thing. It's not just this. Now let's look more at the location of this building. Whoever chose it, this Kabbalah or the Illuminated, these illuminated people. Now, the thing is, we cannot understand it. Now, this is when I realized I must know what the Muslims are saying in their Quran. Yes, this is when I started to investigate. Now, here is a picture of I've not drawn the picture properly. That's why it shows Brazil. The map is a bit out of the way. But if you go from the edge of the South American continent, or the edge of North America, and the edge of the Asian continent, and the link for Australasia and South America, we once again come to Mecca. By accident, I put that to point at the Gulf of Aqaba.
Have you ever tried to do this on a?
No, I've done this. I've done this. The second picture I've just sent you is I've not drawn this accurately. So now here is another thing. Once again, the central location globally, yes, from the oceans, from the continents, is Mecca. I'm going to send you a lot more. This is actually worrying. It's because then I'll go to the all-seeing guy.
Well, I just wish you used an accurate map. That's all. This is not an accurate map.
I've just done this basically. Come on, I can't do everything.
No, I know. I could actually send you some. Have you ever seen the Gleason standard map of the world, David?
I had an interview with French people for an hour. Now I'm talking to you. It's like a headache.
No, I get it. I'm just asking you in general.
Why I wrote my books? Do you want to know why? 20 years ago, all my friends started asking me, and when we used to go drinking, my friends used to sit me down and I had to repeat the same story, saying, September the 11th, look at this, look at the mathematics, it's all organized, the media, everybody, the people in power, they're all part of it. And they kept on saying, repeat the mathematics, show us the proof. So do you know what I did? Now I wrote my books in such a way, in such an easy way, so that everybody can find it. But wait, just look at these maps. It's actually shocking. You can investigate this yourself. Yes. Now I'm going to the edge of Latin American continent, the edge of North America, the edge of Australasia, and the edge of Antarctica. And the central point, meeting point, once again, falls at Mecca. Mecca falls, yes, at the central point on average for all these maps. Then there's more. Let's go to the stars, because now the Quran says something strange. It turns around and says that can we unbelievers, or people who don't believe in the Quran, yeah, it makes a challenge to you and says, can you not see, as in the heavens above, so on the earth below? Yes, can you not see that the heavens, the skies were joined together with the earth?
Can you not see that the sky is a perfect clock? Timepiece?
Yeah, yes, now I'll go through it. 32, it goes down to 33 again. It's got to do with the Kaaba, this so-called perfect clock.
Yeah, it's not random. It's not a random beehive up there. It's perfect.
It's not a random. The sky, the clock, everything. So now, once again, now this Kaaba here, now this is a drawing several centuries ago. And the thing is, the location of the Kaaba, yes, let me just show you, the location according to the stars, not just from the earth, the location according to the stars. Let me just get the
image.
Let me just get this up so that people will know. They can actually check this instead of me just saying it. The location has been designed to match the cardinal points of the stars. Let me just show this. Kaaba. For the cardinal points, going from Polaris to the north, to the south, to the east, to the west. And you can navigate there from the 33 major shiny stars. There's 33 major shiny stars that are mapped out, by the way. People don't know this. Yes, Kaaba, cardinal points. So whoever chose this location chose this globally. Now, this is something to do... something to do with whether it's the New World Order or the Old World Order. Yes, the cardinal points, yes, from the stars and the 33. It's explained in all my books, but I'm just giving some basic things here. I forgot which page in the 20 books. The Kaaba is located at something to do with these cardinal points. And then the black stone that the Muslims go and kiss there, Professor Anatoly Fomenko pointed out, are the relics that the Prophet Moses got from God. Yes, you know, the 10 Commandments or something, the stones.
Yep.
Yes, and these stones were last seen in Russia during the Renaissance, I think, and then they were taken over there after that time. Yes, and so the Muslims gather around this place. Now, the thing is, whoever created this Muslim system knew this Kaaba Allah or the Kabbalah or the Alpha and Omega and the Allah and everything in the mathematics to do with the 19 and the 33rd degree. Now, we are talking about the 33rd degree that forms the cube. Yes, and then they've designed it in such a way that it's not a normal cube, it's the most advanced cube in the fourth dimension, because they're saying their prayers are supposed to reach God, and God is beyond the third dimension. So it's in the form of a tesseract. Now the thing is the old world order, let me just show you, and then you're going to think, what the hell? Now, the old world order, I've shown this in my book, that we found now throughout Northern Europe, let me just show you, when people do graduation, when we go to university, many of the things from the old world order, they haven't changed it. Yes, and when you go to Mecca, you will see that they put a black cloth around the cube. So when you graduate at the basic levels, let's say undergraduate, bachelor's degree, you will wear a cube or the Kaaba for the knowledge that you've got this knowledge now over your head. Now, the thing is, my book explains it and shows that soon you will wear a 6-pointed hat or an 8-pointed hat for the tesseract. Let me show you. Graduation hat, 8 sides, for the tesseract, because as you graduate and you go higher, so when you go to a higher level, yes, the thing is, when you're doing your PhD, yes, to become a doctor, I'm sending you are going to wear tesseract hat. Have a look at this. The tesseract hat, yes, with the 8-pointed sides. Can you see it?
Oh, yeah, I can see it.
Yes. So now the thing is, this has got something to do with the Quran, not Islam. Same like when I turn around and say in my history books, I focus on the Bible as a historical document. Yeah. I'm not going to focus on people going to the church and start singing, "Oh, come all ye faithful, or hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King." Oh, I love this song. I love Christmas carols, me. But so I differentiate between Islam and Christianity, and the historical manuscript called the Bible, which is priceless, and the historical document called the Quran. They're both priceless. Now, a funny thing is, this is really going to shock you. Throughout Northern Europe, they found millions of coins and circulation of hundreds of millions of coins in Northern Europe: Germany, Holland, France, England, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Estonia, Lithuania, Latvia, Poland, Ukraine, Russia, you name it, Austria. Throughout the entire region, we found millions of Arabic coins with the Alpha and the Omega, with the Arabic design.
Okay.
Oh, this is another thing. I put this in my books, especially in the book, Jerusalem is in Europe. Yes, that it's not in the Middle East. It's just a fabricated joke. Now, the strange thing is, did the Quran come from Europe? But, oh, by the way, the major biblical documents, the Christian Bibles, yes, actually came from the Middle East, from Egypt. Let me just show you. Let me just show you this.
Sure.
Like, for example, there was the complete Sinai Bible. What do you call it? Yes, Sinai Bible manuscript from Egypt. Bible Sinai manuscript. Yes, and most of these things are actually from Egypt, like Codex Sinaiticus. Yes, a complete manuscript. Well, sort of like complete. Is from Sinai. Everyone knows where Sinai is, I hope. Yeah, it's in Egypt. Now, the other complete manuscripts, they're all written in Greek, but mysteriously nobody talks about them. Yes, they're all from Egypt. Now, the thing is, let me just show you Codex Alexandrinus.
Okay.
Is also from Egypt. Yes. So the thing is, many people don't check these things. Yes, these complete so-called Bibles. Yes. Now
Of
the thing is, we all know what everybody thinks of the Middle East today. We all know that when we see Arabs around or Middle Eastern people, I'm stating reality here. Yes.
I get it. I mean, that's the concept of people.
Yeah, there's a
Everyone
lot
has
of prejudice and racism.
Yeah,
this
correct.
is very important. This is very important. Let me just show you that when we see these people, and they even when they come to this side of the world, the thing is that we don't generally accept them. I'm being honest to you here. The thing is that we have lots of types of prejudices. So now, the thing is, when you see how they're living and everything, it's their culture. It's a beautiful culture. I've got nothing against them, but I'm going to state reality. Now, this is Egypt, yes, and this is the Middle East, yes. So now we've got all these Christian Bibles and the manuscripts and everything. They were all prepared from their territory. Now, these people are coming to Europe today with modern Islam. What do we think about it? We reject it. So now, the thing is, I want you to imagine living in Europe or America when from that side of the world, they sent these Christian Bibles over. Oh, yeah, they had to do the Inquisitions and kill everybody. The Vatican had to force everyone to Christianity because people rejected it back then. Are you beginning to see what I'm talking about?
Well, I mean, I'm a big firm believer in organized religion was just that, organized by somebody. It's not legit.
Yes, so now these Christian Bibles that are coming out of Egypt, what do we know about Egypt? Yes, organized religion, Pharaoh.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, Julius Caesar, JC. I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's many of them, and there's many of them before that.
Jesus Christ. Now, this doesn't mean I'm against Christ.
No, I'm all about it in terms of the message and the love and the
I'm going to tell you something. Somebody commented. I don't know who it is. I thank him for commenting, saying the Hindus pray, for example, and Christians pray. I really like many Hindu people. There's many people of faith, many people who've got good character. They love their families, they love their babies. Many of them are charitable. They're very kind.
Of course,
if I'm struggling,
that's like that with every religion. But at the same time, you don't need to follow any group to be close with God and the Creator. You don't need to follow any group.
Yeah, we don't need to follow anything. No. That's it. Now, this is what I believe in personally. Now, the history. I'm coming out with the history. Now, somebody's going to do. Some people turn around and said, David's preaching Islam. How can I preach Islam when the Alpha and the Omega says A for Allah? It doesn't say the letter E. Now, somebody turned around and many people started saying, oh, he's preaching Islam. Then how can I be preaching Islam if it's a known fact that hundreds of millions we're talking about, Arabic coins throughout Germany and Northern Europe for the Germanic people. Oh, by the way, if we went to Morocco in the Middle East today, Muslim country, we're not going to find these so-called millions of Arabic coins from the Middle Ages. But the moment we go to Holland or Poland, Holland, Poland, Russia, we're going to find millions of Arabic coins. This made me naturally think, hey, the Arabic language, the Arabic coins, it came from the people of Europe. Oh, by the way, the modern Arabic language is a fake language. The language of the Quran has got basically 400 root words. Now, these 400 root words are found in the Germanic languages, by the way. So this means the Quran, I'm not talking about modern Arabic, the Quran is actually written in European Germanic languages. Wow. This is another thing that many Muslims have disputed me about this, but I've turned around and said, prove it. I've turned around and said, show your proof. And I've shown the proof in my books, like, for example, the word seafarer, or the word, the word seafarer is exactly the same in Arabic, like the word afternoon, after, we will say, is an English word. Oh, but it's the same in Arabic, iftar. Yeah, they say iftar, it's just a different words. Like, for example, when you say hello to somebody, you salute them. Like en français, bonjour, monsieur, salut, salute. Yes. So now,
well, in my opinion, the English language, and especially words like hello, it's.
Yeah, hello came from hello.
No, I know, but in terms of the American English standard, hell, Hell, and then hello, L-O-W. There's a lot of words that were created to cast spells, and people don't even know that.
Ah, yes, the spelling. Okay, now because you've mentioned the spelling and the Kabbalah, now I'm going to make this clear because there is a book known as the Zohar, and the Zohar mysteriously is condemned in the Quran. Yes, the thing is, many of these Zohar books were published during the Renaissance in Europe, not in the Middle East. Zohar was published amongst the Christians and many things, but they claimed, yes, what do you call it? Yes, that this book came from Judaism. Now the thing is, Judaism does have the Zohar, but many Jewish rabbis will tell you that the Zohar and the Kabbalah and has a lot to do with spells and has a lot to do with mathematical spells, and mathematics is used in this. And the thing is, Judaism condemns this. Islam condemns this. Christianity condemns this, but there are known Muslim priests, Christian priests, and Jewish priests who are involved in the mathematical, magical side of the Zohar. This is condemned in the Quran. Yes?
Okay.
And the thing is, officially condemned. The Quran has declared war on these spells. Now, the thing is, because I mentioned Egypt, ancient Egypt, the Egyptians were known to play around with gematria and play around with spells or spelling. And that's why Moses, yes, rejected these magicians. You know the story of Moses, yes?
Well, yeah, I've heard multiple stories of multiple stories.
Yes, multiple stories of multiple stories.
Correct.
Yes. Yeah, I like the way you define it. So now the thing is, yeah, I'm going to show you now. The Quran gives a different story of Moses compared to the Bible. Now the Quran tells you about the number 19. It tells you go out there and it tells you to go out there, study science, astronomy, and then you graduate and you will understand the Kabbalah. Basically, that's why there's Kaaba and Allah, or Qibla or Kabbalah, the direction or the way of Allah. Yes. Now the Quran tells you this thing. Now the thing is, Moses, what he did was, everyone knows the story of Moses and the hand. You know the story of Moses and the hand?
No, that I don't.
Oh, he showed it as a sign to Pharaoh.
I don't really, I can't verify any of that stuff. And the game of telephone has led me to believe a lot of that stuff was fabricated, made up, and put here in our faces to not only diversify society and make everybody fight via religion, but they want us to have false gods and pray to things that we're not supposed to be praying to.
Okay, now the thing is, once we start using mathematics, Professor Anatoly Fomenko was a mathematician. Yes, with mathematics, because these people, the Kabbalah is very important to them. It's based on mathematics. Everybody knows this, and the 33rd degree. So now I will give you an example of what Moses did according to the Bible in Exodus. Now, what Moses did was he pulled out his hand and he showed his hand as a sign. Yes, he showed his hand as a sign, and the hand, he took the hand and according to the hand is the sign that he should show to Pharaoh. So now the thing is, let me show you an example of what Moses did. Yes, let me just find this and show you and give you a better picture, and then you will think, oh my God. Now the hand, the thing is, this is known as the hidden hand. Yes, and many people, you can buy many charms, necklaces, wherever you are in America and everything. And Moses went to fight against the sorcerers or the magicians or the ministers of the government of Pharaoh. Yes, so this is what Moses did. Have you received the picture of the hand?
Yeah, it's up.
Yes. So now the thing is, when one watches Superman, now here is Superman 2. When Superman 2, he rejects the three or the Trinity, he pulls out his hand and he fights them. Yes, this is what Moses did. Now, Moses did the same thing, that he said no to Pharaoh's sorcery and no to Pharaoh's magicians. He pulled out his hand. Yes, and he's rejected them. Yes, so the magicians, because you've said the spells. Now, my book explains this a lot more deeper. Now, what many people don't know is this. Now, this is the most shocking thing ever that you're going to find. Now, the human hand, yes, the human hand, the hand excluding the wrist, the hand that Moses held out has got 19 bones. Now, Moses holds out the hand. Now, the hand is very suspicious. Now, Moses holds out his hand, and he's taken a message from God. Now, he's holding out his hand, and he's rejecting them, saying, I've come with authority from God to reject your magic and your spells. Now, the thing is, the Muslim symbol for Allah, the Alpha and the Omega, when they join it together, yes, is actually done in the shape of a hand. Yes, I've just sent it you once again. Have you received it? Now, this is the Muslim symbol for Allah. When you join the Alpha and the Omega together, you will find it in every Muslim church that you go, Muslim mosque, same thing, church. Yeah, every Muslim mosque that you go to throughout the world. Are you beginning to see now how suspicious this is becoming?
Oh, yeah.
This 19 thing is a lot deeper than you can imagine. Like, for example, let me just show you. Like, so Moses' staff, it turned into a snake when he fought the magicians who did the spells for the Pharaoh. Now, the thing is, what you will notice is that the snake is the symbol for the American dollar.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes. Yeah. But it's not just a normal snake. Now, this is what you're going to think. What the hell is this? Yes. Yeah, the letter S, yes, is not a normal letter. let me just show this accurately, because
my name's Sean, so this isn't starting off too well. Just kidding.
Oh no. Don't worry about it. Yeah, because the thing is, your parents didn't choose it for the purpose of magic.
Yeah, and I didn't choose it. I wasn't even conscious of choosing it.
So now they say money is the root of all evil. You got any dollars? Yo, my man, my mate, yo, my man. Yes, money talks and Bullstein walks, they say. So now S is the 19th letter of the alphabet. Are you beginning to see? And then, because it's the 19th letter of the alphabet, Superman is wearing a letter S on his T-shirt, but it's in the shape of a snake.
Okay.
But some people will say it's a snake. Maybe it's not. That could just be your own opinion. So now the thing is, it's the letter S. So Superman is wearing a 19. Moses is holding out a 19. So now the thing is, who was Superman fighting? In Superman 2, you can see General God came. Oh, sorry, I mean General Zod came. And he came with the cross. Have a look at the cross in the background.
Yeah.
And he's come with the Trinity. Yes. And they say Christ died on the cross. Are you beginning to see everything what's going on here?
Of course, they put the truth in movies, or representation of the truth in movies, all the time, and they call it fake, and they want you to leave the movie theater amused and thinking that can never happen in reality. None of that would ever happen, but yet when you go to the movies for something that's quote unquote true, it's bullshit. So it's reverse. Everything's always opposite, as you know.
Okay. Now I'm going to show you. Now they've got the cross there in the background. So they came to crucify Superman. Now, when one looks at Renaissance paintings and the history of the church, yes, they will say Christ got crucified on a cross on the letter or the shape of the letter T. Now, this is very important. Not the letter S, the letter T. Now, when you get baptized, when you've come into the world, you're taking your sweet baby, and the church is going to put the letter T on your head. Do you know why they're doing this?
Not my head, but go ahead.
Yes, the thing is, so it's done because they say that the Bibles were written in Greek. Yes, and so now and so the letter T. Yeah, they did this because the letter T represented the crucifix that Christ got crucified on, and this is the number 19 in the Greek alphabet, and it represents the number 19.
Yeah, you turn that sideways, that cross, I mean, not sideways, but you turn it a little, and it becomes what everybody is obsessed with now, including Twitter. Change it to X, space X. Everything's X because this is. We know what time. You know what times we're in. Let's be real.
Let's focus on mathematics, Kabbalah, because when you look at these designs and everything, many people don't have a look at the geometry. Now that's why Islam. Islam is the most hated religion. Forget the religion, but the Quran actually, or the Kaaba of Allah, or the way of Allah, Qibla, it actually means the way to Allah. Kabbalah means the way to Allah, or Kaaba means cave, or Kaaba, or cover. Yes, these words, Kaaba, Kaf, and all these things. So the thing is, this is very important because people, when you've had your baby, what they're doing is they're putting the symbol for the number 19 on the child's head. This is what they're doing.
David, it sounds like your volume got real low. Is there any way, I don't know what happened, but
yes, hang on. It's because the thing is, somebody disturbed me for no reason.
Yeah, I heard the vibration. Then you went from It's better now. It's better now. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so the Kaaba and the Allah, it's like I came across the Kabbalah when I was 15. The mathematics. I was in London and there was a strange bookshop there, an Arabic bookshop. So I thought, hey, I'm just going to go in and have a look. And then they had a book about this number 19. I'm only 15 years old. I already knew that history was a lie and everything. And then I started looking at their Kabbalah charts and their mathematics and everything. And then I realized that when Donald Trump, what did Donald Trump turn around and said? Islam hates us. This is very important. He didn't say Muslims hate us. Now, the thing is, Trump, when he said this, he said, Islam hates us. Who is us? Does he mean Islam hates the people in England, or does he mean Islam hates the so-called Illuminati?
Well, I say Trump would be a Luciferian, if anything.
No, he's just an actor.
But in terms of his soul, his demon, the demon inside of him, because he's not perfect.
Yes. Now, the thing is, once you go through the mathematics of everything that Trump does, it comes down to 19 and 33. I wrote a full book about everything he's done called the Donald Trump Codes. But anyway, he said, I think Islam hates us. Because actually, I went through some of these Islamic books in the Quran. The Quran has declared war against the people in the New World Order. Nobody else has done this. The Quran has declared war against many of the bankers and many other things. It's openly declared a war. So it means that basically, I've noticed that the thing is, in our side of the world, we're not born as conspiracy theorists, but Muslims are reading the Quran from a young age, and they're reading all these things about the Quran is a major conspiracy theory book. It tells you that the crucifixion was an inside job, same like 9/11 was an inside job.
Right.
The book of all these inside jobs in history, and he's saying this is a fake, that's a fake, they lied about. Then I started turning around thinking, damn, it seemed like, imagine if I wanted to write a book today about the fake assassination of Kennedy, September the 11th, and, all these injections.
The bullshit Apollo landing, moon landing.
Yeah, the Apollo landings. Oh, my God. Do you know what? Yes, just for the sake of your viewers, what I will do, this is really going to... You
mean the viewers that know we're not spinning, David? We're not a spinning sphere, bro. But go ahead.
Okay. Now the thing is, many people are arguing and debating about this.
There's no debate anymore. Maybe in 2014 there was a debate in the public. Not anymore, really, man. You got the sheep, and then you got the ones that know they're not moving.
Okay, now when you're saying the other people are sheep, now the thing is, if you want to convince somebody, then the thing is, I've seen many of these flat Earth videos, and do you know what? The average person, let's say my mates who went out for a drink just this Friday night, yeah, and the average people, they're not going to have a clue about any of this science anyway. So when you try to prove it to them using science, it will take them a long time. But I've written a book called Ancient Greece Did Not Exist. Now the thing is, in that book, let me just show you, and then this is going to totally devastate anybody. Yes, that devastate any of these people who are going to try to turn around and say, about Apollo and everything else. And you're going to say, oh my God, David, this is a bit too much. Yes, I'm just going to go through a few basics with you, and then you're going to turn around and think, oh my God, I cannot believe this.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, about the space landings, the mathematics, the Kabbalah. Now the thing is,
well, I know it's all numerology. It's all evil. It's all deception and power control.
Yeah.
NASA's logo is a snake.
Mathematics
serpent.
is not evil. Now the thing is,
no, I didn't say mathematics was, but they're using it for evil. That's
they're using it. So now the thing is, anybody who reads the Quran and then studies the mathematics and graduates with a cube on their head, not the new education system we have in universities is fake. Now, the way the Quran tells you to set up the education system, I'm not supporting the Quran. I'm just telling you the way it tells you of what to study, then you figure out the Kabbalah mathematics. Now, I'm just going to go through the moon landings, and then people will turn around and think, hey, I can't believe this. Now I can show people that NASA is a fake. Now, the thing is, let me just show you.
My audience knows this, but let's see. I want to see what
let
you...
Let me just show this in 2 minutes, and you're going to think, what the hell?
Sure,
yes,
sure.
I'm just sending you a picture. I'm closing some of these files.
The amount of time and effort you put into our old world and our history, I have put into our space agencies.
Yeah. Okay. Now, this space agency is going to shock you now. Okay.
Let's try.
Say that the first living things to return from space were on Sputnik 5, which was launched on 19th of August with Belka and Strelka from the Soviet Union. Okay, now I'm just going to go through all this very fast without commenting all this. Check the mathematics out. Ham the chimpanzee was the first non-human hominid to be launched into space. The thing is, many people know he was launched, but people didn't care. But then they kept on showing him on the media. In the 1970s, they kept on showing him in the media. This is Ham. He's the first chimp hominid into space. So then
he's got to go to space. We swear.
Yeah, then he died. It became a big issue on 19th of January because they advertised it in schools and many things for the kids. Yes? So now let me just show you. Yuri Gagarin was the first man in space. He was selected by the Soviet Union with 19 other candidates. Yuri Gagarin. Yeah? So now then Yuri Gagarin, he went into space, and then when he came back, yes, he went into space, but in them days, hardly anybody had a television set. Hardly anybody, could pay for newspapers. People were, still backwards.
Hey, David, I got a secret to tell you, brother. He didn't go into space that day. But
okay.
Go ahead.
Now you can see this. So
no, it's that's why they do it. They lie to us, but while they're lying to the masses, they're putting their hold on. While they're lying to the masses, they're putting their coding in.
Okay, it's not the coding. Let me show you how. So now
I see a 19 right there.
Right, I'll tell you what they did. Do you know what they did? They invited everybody in Moscow, as many people as possible, to come to Moscow to the center. Yes, so that everybody can see Yuri Gagarin. And they told everybody he came from space. They let everybody have time off work, and they had a 19-kilometer parade. That's how they did it. So now let's see, the first man to walk in space was Alexei Leonov. He was from the Soviet Union. When you start going through the major things that's on NASA's website, they'll say he left on the 18th and he landed back on the Earth on the 19th. So now let's see. So the United States, they've got to compete against the Soviet Union. So now they have Project Gemini. Project Gemini was based at Launch Complex 19. Huh?
Oh, yeah.
No reason. We don't even know why they called it Gemini or Complex 19. But they chose this. These are the names they chose. So now the thing is, they selected Neil Armstrong. Yeah, same like Yuri Gagarin was selected from 19 astronauts. Yep. What do you call it? Yes. Neil Armstrong was selected with 90, when they recruited 19 class whatever astronauts. Neil Armstrong was selected with the 19.
Of course. Yeah. It's all bullshit, man. They just sit there and write it and put their numbers in and call it a day.
I'm going to make this very short. Now, everybody who has a look at everything, everybody imagines that the moon landings happened on the 20th of July, 1969. But the important thing is, I want you to imagine that you are in America in 1969. In America, 1969, on every street, not everybody had a television set. Everybody went to their neighbors' houses. Yes, and people were crowded around in bars, in pubs, or anywhere else where there was a television set. Do you know when they were crowded around? What they don't tell you is that I've sent you a picture. I've not sent it you complete. Let me send with the complete sentence. Let me send you another one. Neil Armstrong arrived at the moon the day before, on the 19th of July. So everybody was watching at that time, millions of people, America around the world. They're watching the news, everything going crazy. Neil Armstrong's arrived on the moon. Yes! That's because it was the 19th. So the 19th was the main day. So do you know what they were advertising on radio and everything?
Oh, what's
Buzz
that?
Aldrin is talking and everything. How the hell did they get these radio signals? So Buzz Aldrin, Michael Collins was the third man on that spaceship, and he's just at oatmeal 19 times. And they're telling us, the guy just at oatmeal 19 times. Can you believe it, man? They're just talking about it. Yeah. So now the thing is, why was Neil Armstrong selected? Yes, the thing is, Michael Collins, yes, they advertised him and said that he spent a special letter to his father on the 19th of April saying Neil Armstrong is going to be selected. So now they turned around and said, Houston, Tranquility Base here. Houston, yes, and all this stuff. The Eagle has landed and all this blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Now they said this and whatever, the Eagle has landed after a 19-second exchange with mission control. So this is 19 seconds after they land on the moon. Immediately, 19 seconds later, they say, Houston, Tranquility Base. The Eagle has landed. 19 seconds later, is this a joke? Yes. And what do you call it? Yes. Then Neil Armstrong steps on the moon and he turns around and says, what does he say? That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind, or whatever. Oh, I forgot to send you the last one. Let me just send you the last one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, remember too, David, they had about 15 years to come up with this plan and turn all these numbers, code their own system for the public so they can use these numbers correctly. None of this was on the fly. This was all planned.
Yeah, anyway, I've sent you the 19 seconds after they landed on the moon. Houston, Tranquility Base here. So now the worst thing is, let's see this out. So Neil Armstrong and the rest of them, they come back and said, why did you say that's one small step for man and one giant leap for mankind? They had many television shows in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s. They keep repeating the same story, that these words came from, yes, the 19th of April, 1969. Neil Armstrong was influenced to say these words from a memo from 19th of April, 1969. What the hell's going on? Oh, now Buzz Aldrin, he was the second. They arrived on the moon on the 19th. Now Buzz Aldrin steps on the moon straight after Neil Armstrong. Do you know what he did? He stepped on the moon 19 minutes later. Are you
that's what they, He didn't actually do that, but that's what they wrote. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is the history they're teaching. So now the thing is, in my book, Ancient Greece Did Not Exist, it goes through the entire space programs, the Mars program, everything that anything that everybody checks out it becomes a joke. Like, for example, I'll show you, there was the Discovery, when they launched the Discovery. Yeah, just have a look at this. And you're going to see the mathematics. Yeah. NASA explains that according to universal time, the Discovery was launched at 19 hours, 19 minutes, and 33 seconds.
That doesn't sound like a Freemasonic secret cult, does it? That doesn't sound like a little special club.
Now the 33 is the Kaaba in the third dimension.
Of course.
The cube. And 19 is the flower of life, or the Kaaba, or the cube in the second dimension. Yes, and then
I also look at that, David. I just want to see if you agree. I also look at that as them fucking with us as well. You got to give that a little piece of the pie.
Okay, yes, there is more.
Okay.
Now the thing is, you'll find hundreds of videos online in any language, in Chinese, in in Persian, in Iranian languages, in in Spanish language in Brazil. People are showing that many of these fake events, or many events, there's numerology, gematria, everything. Now let me tell people, you are not going to understand numerology or gematria without understanding the basics. Now, the basic starts from Alpha, number 1, then the Omega, which is 9. When you go from 1 to 9, I am the first and the last. This is God. The first number is 1. The last digit number is 9, the Alpha and the Omega, which makes 19, which is Allah. It is not Elah. I'm sorry, you're not going to understand this, all the mathematics. Now, many people have done the videos and they've said this is suspicious. And they've shown the gematria and the names, everything. They've done an amazing job, but they've gone deeper, but they've not gone to the root. The root is from the Alpha and the Omega, the name of God. And then from there to going to Allah, and then going to the second dimension, the flower of life, and the Star of David is in there. But the main points of the flower from the Kaaba, which is the cube, and the Kaaba is the Kabbalah, or the cube of Allah, which is at Mecca. Mecca is the central location of the world's land in many maps and from the astronomical locations. This is no accident. And then the system of the old world, in the old world order, now the Muslims turn around and say their prophet is called Mahomet in French, or Muhammad in English, or Mohammed, or Muhammad, or however the Muslims pronounce it. Now, do you know what the strange thing is? Now, when we say mother, we say Ma. Yes? Now, Ma also means Maha, great. The word mega, mega comes from the word Maha, Maha in Hebrew. Yes, or mega in English. Now, the word Muhammad actually means, or Muhammad actually means Mahamat. Means great maths. Okay. Now the word mathematics is a strange word. If you look at the many older way this word was pronounced, it didn't used to be maths or mathematics. It's strange to say a word. It's like saying scientics, or saying biologetics, or chemistritics. It actually, that word was called Mohammedics. Now you will say why? Mahamat, his name means great maths. Now, the thing is, if you look at ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics, they will turn out and say that the person who is fighting the spells and the mathematics, yes, against Pharaoh and his people, his name is Mat. Yes, or Emet in Hebrew, or in Arabic, Ahmed. Now, this is why they say Muhammad, or the great maths. The word Muhammad is actually a title. It actually means the great maths. Now, when the Muslims say the Prophet Muhammad, they're actually saying the Prophet of the great maths. So this is why people have to study. You can study this online. It doesn't take long to understand that 19 cubed in the third dimension is 33. So the thing is to get to the 33rd degree. Yes. And these 33 circles, within them, there's other numbers. Yes, and this is when you start to understand the rest of the numbers in mathematics and how they're spreading it out for the events. And you'll say, oh my God, these people are highly organized and they planned it years ahead. Yes,
oh, yeah. I mean, look, I don't like you and many others that research this type of stuff. None of us like these people that have lied to us and covered things up, but they did do it in a pretty brilliant, strategized way. I mean, look at how long it's taken humanity to kind of come to these conclusions and figure out exactly kind of how they're doing it and what they're doing.
When we say it's taking humanity long, that's not exactly true.
Now, well, no, I'm sorry. My bad. Well, let me rephrase that. No, let me rephrase that, though. I just mean in modern times, in the last 100 years, this is the best. Hold on. Let me finish this sentence real quick, Dave. That this is at least in the last 100 years, for me, this is the quickest time frame that people are waking up, or at least trying to wake up, or trying to figure out what's going on, the truth, what's happening. There's so much deception.
You know why I said don't rephrase it?
Yeah,
it's because the thing is, I don't want us to try to be nice. Because the thing is, in the 1960s, many people woke up, millions of people around the world. They protest against the Vietnam War. Yes, or the Vietnam War is full of 19. You'll find it in my Alpha and Omega codes. Yeah, and people will think, what the hell, this is a joke. But anyway, millions of people woke up. What did they achieve?
No, just not more than now is all I meant. That's all.
Many people, published many things. They did their best. They photocopied many things, gave it to their friends in the 80s. People tried to wake people up. But the thing is, it's a vicious circle. Because the thing is, we're already at a new generation. Like my young brother who's 20, he doesn't even know September the 11th. Yeah, when I mentioned to him, And I said, he's never even heard of, Osama bin whatever and all the rest of them. He's never even heard of Princess Diana or Bill Clinton, my young brother. And then I had to tell him, because coronavirus, and he's saying all these things, and he's saying there's lots of scams here in the data. Everything is just a total scam. I said, hey. And then he said, what, you mean this happened 19 years before Corona? Oh, yeah, September the 11th happened 19 years before. And I said, yeah, don't you know? Yeah. And then I said, yeah, they did the same thing. Napoleon the Bonaparte came to power. The first day in power was 19th of Brumaire. Hitler came to power on the 19th. He became the Führer. You'll find the same history. They falsified and lied about the history of the Second World War and of Hitler. Now, the thing is, because many people will find this very shocking. It's in my book, Adolf Hitler, or the book Nazi Germany. But the thing is, you're right. You are right in your first statement. But do you know why I said you're wrong? Because the thing is, you're right for Europe and America and us Western nations.
Yeah.
We are the ones who are asleep. Now, do you know which side of the world knows this mathematics and the Kabbalah? The Muslims, because they follow the Kaaba of Allah. Kabbalah. They know this mathematics. Their Quran tells you, please look for this 19. I'll show you. When I was 15 years old, I came across this. Let me just show you. I've put this in my books. When I was 15 years old, this is what the Quran says. Now the thing is, modern Islam is a scam. I'm openly declaring it's a scam. Modern Islam, the majority of it, and the history of modern Islam is a lie. So if anybody is going to look at Islam, don't bother. Yes, the Quran is a historical document in the Bible, as a historical document, because I'm looking for facts. Look at the documents. Now, the Quran turns around and says this within this document. It turns around and says, you're looking for the truth and the lies. Now, in chapter 74, it says that over a fire, you are going to find the number 19. And then the Quran tells you, what is this number 19? It's an examination and a test for those who don't believe. And then once you've found this number 19 and you've understood it, you will know for sure what is the truth about life and death. And then it tells you and it warns you, this is one of the greatest warnings. Like I've only given you a few simple things, but in my book, Ancient Greece Did Not Exist. If you read it and go through the entire history of NASA and you find these 19s, you'll say, this is not a joke. He arrives on the 19th. Napoleon comes to power on the 19th. September the 11th, there was 19. Coronavirus, it was COVID-19. Hitler comes to power on the 19th. That soon you start going through this pattern, and then you will think all these scams. Oh yeah, what's his name? JFK. His assassination video is 19-second long. Let me just show you this JFK thing, because I think a large percentage of your audience is American. This is in my book, The Alpha and the Omega Codes. Now, when people go through this John F. Kennedy thing, they're going to think, what the hell is this? Now, John F. Kennedy was assassinated on the 22nd of November, I think. Let me just get my information before me. The thing is, so the thing is, everybody has been studying this. People are trying to show it's fake, it's fake, it's fake. Now, the thing is, anybody who's read the Quran will look for the mathematics and they'll understand the Kabbalah straight away, because the Quran explains the liars and who is doing this and why and what is their agenda. The Quran explains this. Now, this doesn't mean I'm saying it's from God. I'm just telling you, whoever wrote this book has put this down. They are at war with the New World Order. The Quran, whoever wrote this document is at war with the New World Order. No doubt about it, because they're telling you these things. So then, after I read the Quran, so the first thing I did, the Zapruder film, for John F. Kennedy's assassination, they say he got shot 3 times within 19 seconds. Whoa, this is the big headlines. The Zapruder film is for 19 seconds. Just in case some people will dispute, let me just send you, media. I live in England, so I'm sending you English newspapers, the British Telegraph. Yes, you got shot 3 times within 19 seconds. Oh, yeah. What time was John F. Kennedy pronounced dead? John F. Kennedy, because this was a global matter. John F. Kennedy's story was famous all over the world. It was televised in Japan, for example. He died at 1900 hours Universal Time. you've got to consider it a universal time. So now the thing is, let me just show you. Now this is going to make you think, what the hell? David's explained 19 and the 33. If you don't read my books, you're never going to understand it perfectly. I've shown it in diagrams. Now, John F. Kennedy, this is what they say. The video of the attack is called the Zapruder film. Now, the video of the attack is 19 seconds long, and the video starts at frame number 133. You see? Now let's have a look at John F. Kennedy's death. Yes. So now he's died, hasn't he? Yes. Nobody. And people have got to figure out that the guy's just died. So now the thing is, they've just told the world he's in hospital. Now, at that time, people are listening to the radio. Many people say, oh my God, he's been shot. He's been shot. He's going to die. Yes. So now they suddenly announced to the world that John F. Kennedy is actually dead. He was officially announced dead at 1900 hours and 33 minutes. By the way, but now many people who know 33, because they're guessing, many people don't really know. They just know the 33 number is common. But today, anybody who has a look will understand, is because 33 is 19 squared to form the cube. Yes, within the flower of
those
life.
two numbers we see often here, especially in mainstream media, CNN, Fox.
Know that you can't get to the 33rd degree without going past 19. And you can't get to 19 without the alpha and the omega. This means the name of God has power. So they're using the name of God within their, whatever you want to call it, magic spells.
Well, magic spells, they're coding, they're black magic, they're whatever.
So
and again, they're not doing this for good, guys. They're not none of this is like, hey, this is good for humanity. It's awful.
Yeah, so now the thing is, many people are going to say I'm preaching Islam. No, I'm not. The Quran told me how to find this information. I just followed it. Now, who wrote the Quran? The evidence shows the Quran came from Germany, somewhere in Northern Europe. The thing is, not from Saudi Arabia. Whereas the Bible, New Testament manuscripts, it's in my books. People will have to go through it. Yeah, the manuscripts, the Greek New Testaments came from Alexandria in Egypt and from the Middle East. It was the other way around. Yes, and they came with their, with their inquisitions and the Vatican. The Vatican came from there. Yes, the Pepe or the Papa came from ancient Egypt. That's why you'll notice they've got ancient Egyptian symbols. It's too long to put here anyway. Anyway, at that time, one of the most major international news channels, it wasn't CNBC. The BBC was around at that time in more countries than most of these other channels. So the BBC news channel, it stopped because of shock. John F. Kennedy's just died. So they just stopped for 19 minutes. The channel stopped forever. So now let me just show you. John F. Kennedy was shot. Yes, where was he shot? He was shot from behind, and the distance was, 190 feet, which is 19 times 10. Yes? Or it's something else, but there's more. So now the thing is, the Zapruder film, people waited for people wanted more information, more proof. Everybody keeps studying it. John F. Kennedy's dead. So they released the full video or the color video footage of the assassination of John F. Kennedy was finally released on February the 19th, 2007. And then along comes Donald Trump, and then he releases the major secret files of the John F. Kennedy assassination, and he releases them so that people can see them, and he releases them, and there's exactly 19,000 files.
Yeah.
Are you beginning to see what's going on?
Yeah, man, like I've said on my show for a long, long time, I have always felt like there was a Masonic, overly Masonic influence, specifically in this country, the last 20, 30 years, that they're showing their cards now. They're putting it in all of their new... Hold on, David, let me just finish something here real quick. They're putting it in all their news coverages. They're attaching it to everything they possibly can do. And people are picking up on it. There's people that analyze this, numerologists. There's people that do this all the time. So Just so you know, my audience and a lot of the people that are in the, as people would call it, at least the truth community, we know about this stuff. You know, I don't know, because sometimes you,
very good.
you know,
That is very good.
Yeah, but we know a lot about this stuff, and then even there's a lot of people like Santos Bonacci, astrotheologist, Dr. Narco Longo. They talk about the anomalies in the wording, in the ancient wording, and the why they use the words they do, and a lot of the Masonic stuff is pretty it's pretty out there.
Now,
you can see it everywhere.
When you say Masonic, now let me show you something. It's like the thing is, I'm from England, and I know it's a similar thing in America. When I'm in Seattle or Chicago, or even for me, I call Canada America from my point of view in England. When I go to Vancouver, when I see any of my American friends, the thing is, we can talk about anything in the world, and we can talk about Hebrew, Greek, ancient Babylon, everything, but nobody will want to talk about Arabic. Now, the thing is that when you put the words Masonic, it comes from the word Mason and Freemason. When you put these words together, now everybody is going to have a look at the meaning of these words in any language except Arabic. Now, when you look at it, the word free in Arabic comes from the word far or comes from the word Pharaoh. Then the word Mason comes from the word Mas for the word Messiah. It means Pharaoh is the Messiah. That's why they've got Egyptian symbols. And Moses, he held out his hands with the 19 bones. Yes. And he's rejecting their magic. You see? So the thing is, there is something more. Now, the thing is, I wouldn't have understood all these things because we will not look at the opposition or what we think is the enemy. Donald Trump said they hate us. You know, the thing is, they hate the New World Order. The Quran openly declares these things that, you know, it says oppose the people in power. It talks about the bankers. The thing is, for example, it turns around and says in the Quran, it says, make the holy war, this Prophet Muhammad and his men made the holy war against who? The bankers. I was shocked by this myself. It turned around and says that these bankers are ripping people off by charging double, that you buy a house, by the time you paid back double. So it forces the price of the property to double. Then when your son wants to buy a house because he wants to get married or something, he can't afford it because the price has doubled now.
Of course, man. I know we're in a controlled slave system.
So now
we're all trying to climb our way out of this, man.
Yes. So now, but the main thing is why I mentioned this thing today. The thing is, my books go through these things. And the thing is, it goes through the mathematics in a simple way. As you've noticed, every picture I've sent you is from my books with the paragraphs. I've put them there simply, and the reference is there. I took photographs. Do you know why? Because people will say that you can modify a screenshot or something. I've opened Google, typed things in, and you can look for something, and then I've just taken simple photographs so that people can find this information themselves, and they can check if it's major information or if it's minor.
Yeah,
so
and everyone listening, the links are in the description of this video. So please, and go check out his books. Go check out all the different options.
Have you noticed the way I wrote my books? Every page I've sent you, these are from my books. Did you notice? From the Google, I took a photograph so that nobody can say I did Photoshop or modified anything. So a Google search, and you can find the information and what is the data that they're showing. Yes, it's like the data is so ridiculous. Yes, the thing is, many people have seen this mathematics in the gematria, in the masonry, and the thing is, if you don't understand the basic mathematics, that's why the Muslims turn around and say you have to read the Quran and follow the Quranic mathematical science, or the Mahamats, or Muhammad, or Muhammad, or Muhammad, the great maths. The moment you know this great maths, yes, or the great truth, yes, Muhammad, Maha-emet in Hebrew just means the great truth. Yes, or the great math. In ancient Egyptian language, Muhammad means the great maths. In Hebrew also. Yes. Okay. So this is not a name. Now, many Muslims don't even know this. I know Muslims are going to turn and say, where did David get this from? They're just going to have to study a little more, because many Muslims have commented on my books and many other things. And they said, no, Muhammad is a name. It's been there for centuries. And I said, prove it. Yes. And I said, in ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics, I can turn around and see Maha means great and math means maths. Yes, and that's where the word maths comes from, and that's where the name Muhammad come from. It means the great maths. So Muhammad was a great mathematician, and then Moses went with his hand and he was rejecting this maths. Yes, that they're using with the spells or with the snake, and the thing is, and then Islam has been at war with this so-called Christianity. There's more. It turns out says the crucifixion and God came back from the dead and God was recognized. All of it's in multiples of 19 when you read these Bibles and the dates. And Easter is based on the number 19. The calendar is based on the number 19. Soon people will be shocked that if they check these things, it's actually ridiculous.
Yeah, this is why you do what you do. You do a lot of research and you back it up with evidence. And if people, as a lot of people don't have the time to do that. So this is why you have books. This is why
my books are so easy that you could read each book within an hour or two. I put the information in basic with photographic proof so that people can check. And I've just turned it on maths because mathematics doesn't lie. And the word mat or emet in Hebrew means truth. And in Arabic, amat or in ancient Egyptian mat or maths is truth. Maths can't lie. Now, the reason why many people are rejecting what many of these researchers have pointed out, saying it's speculation because they don't understand basic maths. Now, basic maths, when we go to school, hardly anybody is studying these days. You've seen it in school. How many people are passing their maths? It's because they're teaching us the most pathetic things in maths so that people will not understand basic maths. Just the pictures that I've sent to show 19, alpha and omega, and 33. I'm sure many people are going to think, oh my God, why couldn't I figure this out before? That
because of our public Rockefeller-funded education system. System.
And this is why there is only one education system left now in the entire world. Yes, that is actually teaching about this 19. It is whoever reads the Quran or follows the Quranic mathematics system. Now, this is why I mentioned the Quran, the Quranic mathematics system, because it goes through the maths and it tells you, find it and you're going to find the truth. So the thing is, Christ, he said, find the truth and the truth shall set you free. Yep. Now, the thing is, Professor Anatoly Fomenko, I've written about this in my book, Jerusalem is in Europe. Yeah, he showed that Jesus Christ lived in Europe and there was many cities called Jerusalem in Europe. Not one. Edinburgh was one. Barcelona was another. The state of Utah, they could claim that Jerusalem was there, is because Jerusalem was a concept, and it came from the word Jaru Salam.
Ah, okay.
This is why the word is Islam. It is not called Jerusalem. Yes. Now, shalom, it's because the way modern Hebrew was designed. The first Hebrew dictionary, they didn't even complete it until the 20th century. This is the biggest joke. So how the hell could a Hebrew Bible have ever existed in the past? How could they have translated it when they didn't even have a dictionary?
Exactly.
Until the 20th century. And so now the thing is, because I thought, hey, I'm going to start studying Arabic. I started studying Hebrew words before the age of 15. But then I thought, hey, I'm going to start studying Arabic words. And I actually noticed that all the Old Testament, what they call Hebrew words, are actually Arabic. It's like, can you imagine if somebody turns around and says, hey, all these English words in England, they're actually American. And somebody Australian says, no, all these Canadian words in Canada are actually Australian. That's because I can imagine somebody in the future that they're going to try to tell lies and say, no, they spoke Canadian, we spoke Australian, and they spoke English. So now the Old Testament is actually written in Arabic. And you can say the Quran is written in Old Hebrew. And you can say that Old German is actually Arabic. And that Old Hebrew is actually German. They're actually the same language, but somebody modified the modern versions so that you will think that they're different languages.
Wait, David, are you saying that they lied about our history? No way. No way.
No, this is very important because now this is very important because the thing is, this means that the Bible and the Quran were written in the same language, and then they modified the modern languages to make them sound different, and then the pronunciations on purpose. So this is what I found. They're basically in the same language, and then this is when you start to think, damn, they're in the same language. So why is somebody saying the Quran is written in Arabic, the Hebrew? Oh, no, Jesus spoke Aramaic. Get real. the word Aramaic just means Rome. It's just a dialect. Like Vancouver has a dialect. So Ice Cube has another dialect in his songs, but he's singing in English. Come on. No, this is a new language. So this is what they're trying to say. So this is how they fooled everyone. Aramaic, old. No, the modern Aramaic dictionaries are a forgery. The modern Arabic dictionaries are a forgery. Or many Arabic Quran translations online and biblical translations online that are a forgery. Like, for example, I've shown in my book, Muhammad is mentioned many, many times in the Old Testament. Many times. I'll go through this another time. It's actually very shocking. That the thing is, I thought, what the hell is going on here? And then, do you know, if you confront people, anybody who knows it, they'll say, oh no, the word Muhammad's not a name. He's same like an apple. Then I could turn around and say, oh, Jesus is not a name. He represents orange juice. And I could turn around and say, King David represents, a mobile phone, and King Solomon represents the internet connection.
Right. Yeah. No, that's a good
point.
And
then it turns around and says, in the Bible, it actually shows the war between the Vatican and the Crusades and many other things that Professor Fomenko showed, that the Old Testament in the Bible shows events that happened in the Middle Ages, and then it was only completed and updated in the 18th, 19th centuries. They were still updating it, finishing it in the last 150 years. It's a joke. Wow. Yes, this is why they didn't need a Hebrew dictionary until the 20th century. People can check this online. In fact, I'll send it them because some people will think maybe David's making this up. Yeah. Can you imagine they're telling us people spoke Hebrew for centuries, but we didn't even have a Hebrew dictionary? Wait, this is one of the biggest frauds that you will turn around and think, oh my God. The first Hebrew dictionary was, was compiled. Right, look at this, and you're going to think they started it in the 1880s, but they didn't finish it until, the 1940s and 50s. Now, check this out. During the Middle Ages, for the last 2,000 years, nobody has spoken Hebrew. Nobody for 2,000 years. This means every Hebrew document in the last 2,000 years must be a forgery because nobody could speak it. Or they were written in Arabic. Now, modern Hebrew has a similarity of like 60%. Yeah, 40% they changed it. You could say there's 40% difference between how Ice Cube talks and how you talk to your friends and how I talk to my friends compared to your friends. Because I don't talk to my friends like how I'm speaking with you right now. Correct. So then he started creating the first Hebrew dictionary and invented the modern Hebrew language. Now, the thing is, when he invented the modern Hebrew language, yes, he said this himself with his committee. Yes. Now, what did he exactly say? Now, this is what he exactly says. He says the Arabic language, the root words, yeah, were part of Hebrew. And he said they were lost for 2,000 years. But now we found them 2,000 years later in the Arabic language. So he said to revive Hebrew, this is from Haaretz, the Israeli newspaper, to reinvent Hebrew, I have turned to Arabic. And he said, I am following the deeds of our ancient scholars. It means that all the ancient scholars turned to Arabic. And then he identified Arabic roots in in the Arabs. Yes. And he found those same words in the Mishnah and the Talmud. This means the Mishnah and the Talmud is in Arabic. Yes, call it Hebrew. Call it Hebrew or call it Old German. I'm not here to debate. You can call it any language because some people don't like to hear Arabic. Oh no, game over. Yeah. So now the thing is, then he turned around and said the Hebrew language, while they were completing it, was incomplete. So what they did was they formed the grammar and the sentences so that everybody can speak it and understand it, everything from Arabic. And then he turned around and said that now modern Hebrew has been reinvented from Arabic. And this is why if anybody goes to Israel, anybody could read the Bible and understand it today. Because the modern Hebrew language was created from Arabic. This means the Hebrew Bible was Arabic. There you go. Yeah. Oh, and what language did the Jewish people speak? Let me just go through this. This is something that is very shocking. Yes. Let me just just show you now that many people are going to think, I find this totally hard to believe. Yes. Let me just show you now. Yes. Until the 18th century. Yeah. For 2,000 years. Yes. For centuries. Now you can argue Aramaic, or I could say, I could turn around and say, I'm not speaking English, I'm speaking Australian. Yes. And I could say, you're not speaking American, you're speaking Canadian. Yeah. So now the thing is, for 1,000 up to 2,000 years, the Jewish people, until the 18th, 19th century, they spoke Arabic for 2,000 years. Wait a minute. 2,000 years ago, Jesus Christ was here. If he came for the lost Jewish people, or the lost sheep of Israel, and they spoke Arabic, what language was Jesus Christ speaking? Spanish? Chinese?
Arabic.
No, he was speaking Aramaic. It's because they don't want to tell you. They don't want to tell you. So anyway, this is from the New York Times. I've sent you from the New York Times, from York University. I've sent you, Google Books. People can check all these reports. It is well known. You go to Israel today, just go to Israel and find many Jewish people, the old people, and say, can I meet your grandparents, please? I just want to ask them a simple question. What language did your grandparents speak? A large, more than half the people will their grandparents, they'll say to you, my grandparents spoke Arabic. Yes. They spoke Arabic. Yeah, so now the thing is, so if Jesus Christ was here 2 millennia ago, let's say he really was, if it was 2,000 years ago, then, or even 1,000 years ago, the lost sheep of Israel speak Arabic. What language did Jesus Christ speak? So if he spoke Arabic, why the Gospels written in Greek? Do you know what? Hitler spoke in German, but let's say all the history books of Hitler are written in Chinese. Now, if they're written in Chinese, then you will say they're suspicious. So now the thing is, Jesus Christ spoke some language over there, but now all the books are written in Greek.
Yeah. I know. Listen, man, it's a whole clusterfuck of lies.
Oh, but wait now, when everybody thinks it's written in Greek, yeah, which country do you imagine? When I say that the Bible, this New Testament, was written in Greek, are you going to think of South Africa or Argentina or Japan or Australia or Greece? Which country do you think of?
I'm sure most people would think of Greece.
Okay. Now, the thing is, this language was never spoken in Greece. It's not even Greek. It's actually the language of some Middle Eastern place called Alexandria city in Egypt. Yeah. Let me just...
man, it's unbelievable.
Yes, it means that it's not even written in Greek. They're lying. It was written in the language of Egypt. They're lying about this. Yes. Now the thing is, they're going to turn around and say it was translated, thousands of years ago, blah blah blah, by a Jewish community in Alexandria. Yes, in Egypt. Blah blah blah. And let me just show you. It has got nothing to do with Greece. It was the language of Egypt. Yes. Let me just send it you. It's nothing to do with Greece. It's same like saying, I'm a Chinese person. I speak Singlish. I live in Shanghai. I speak good English. But this is not original English.
Of course.
This is a copy. So now the thing is, all the original Greek Bibles, they were all written in yes, in the Greek language, which was nothing to do with Greece whatsoever,
Correct.
but was from another country, yes, called Egypt. That all of them, let me just send it you, so that people can check this themselves. They were all written in Egypt. Yes. Can you see it? Yeah. Ancient evidence reveals that all the earliest written translations of the Bible in Greek were completed in Alexandria. Where is Alexandria? Yes, they write it as Alexandria like that so that somebody will think it's ancient Greece. No, it's Egypt, guys, in the Middle East. And if some of these guys from the Middle East come today, you won't give them the time of day to listen to these guys. So and this New Testament they brought, with this religion for the New Testament, for the new world, for the new world order, it was the new religion. This is what people don't understand with their baptism for 19. Yes, putting the crucifix on your head and everything. The more you look at this, then you will soon start to think this has come from Egypt. Yes, Moses fought them in Egypt. He rejected them with their hand. Yeah.
Yeah. So, now, David, real quick, not to switch gears, but to wrap it up, I wanted to ask you something in the simplest format that you could possibly do in an answer. If you had a chance to, and I asked this to a few others about our old world specifically, but if you had a chance to, and this is where we'll end today. If you had a chance to be on a show, let's just call it Good Morning America, something like that, some big show. We're just pretending here. And you had a chance to actually speak to the world, and you had a couple minutes only, and you had to tell them about the old world and the fabrication and the lies, and the history is completely fabricated, and they lied about a lot of things in our past. How could you do that, and what would you say?
What would I say? The thing is, how many minutes will I have to say this if I was on the show?
And that's the pressure of it all. That's why I wanted to see and you have to keep it. Minutes? Let's say 5, but you have to keep it basic because remember, most of society are not that bright at this point in time. So you got to remember who you're speaking to.
Most of society are not that bright. True. You're correct.
Yeah. So how could you relay the message to them in the simplistic way about especially the old world buildings and all the lies attached? What would you say in a nutshell if you had the chance on live TV to the world?
Okay. In many of the old world buildings in Europe and in America, people have seen the Alpha and the Omega. This is one thing. Now, another thing is, I will just say, find the Alpha and the Omega. Now, not even 5 minutes is needed for that. And I will say, follow the Alpha and the Omega. Now, and that is mathematics. And then when people find the Alpha and the Omega, God is the first and the last. God is the Alpha and the Omega. God is the beginning and the end. The beginning is 1. I've sent you a picture for this. The end is 9. This is in many of my books. 1 to 9 is 19. And 19 is the second dimension. It mathematically represents God. And from there, you will understand mathematics. And 33, the second dimension, it's like the average person will think the mathematics is hard. It becomes easy that if your children study the Alpha and the Omega and simple geometry, and simple science and all these other things, the science of nature, then you find the Alpha and the Omega, you find the 33 in simple geometry and in simple science.
David, see, my audience would understand kind of where you're going. I'm talking about the masses. How would you break down?
This is what I'm saying. Look for the Alpha and the Omega.
Most people probably don't even know what the fuck that means. That's my point. Most people don't even. I go outside right now because look for the Alpha and Omega. They'll go, "What are you talking about?"
If they don't know what that means, then I will just say, "Hey, read my books, guys." I don't know what else.
No. I just wanted to hear from your. Because again, listen, David, obviously I'm making a film on this, and my job as a filmmaker is not advance information for people that are unaware. My job is to give basic information to make people understand the timeline doesn't match. We have evidence, we have facts. There's ways to prove it in a basic format. So what would you be able to, again, that's why I tried to paint the picture where you're on a big show, you got 5 minutes and they're like, what do you mean these old buildings were not made by people on horse and buggy? What do you mean that building was wasn't built in 1915? What do you mean, David? Educate,
So if history is a lie, it means they're hiding something. Yes. If you're going to be telling lies, it means that you're fighting against somebody. Yes.
Of course.
Or what? Yes. So now the thing is, I will tell people to find out instead of you'll go around in circles, hundreds of videos, hundreds of books, and you'll start thinking, hey, thousands of buildings, and you'll come back to square one. So what? They lied. So what? They changed the history. Who are they fighting against and what are they hiding? Now, the thing is, you live in the United States, I live in England, and we know which communities hated most any side of the world. You will find the same thing if you went to India. There is one community or one system or one history that nobody likes. You'll find the same in China. They're going to say they're terrorists. You'll find the same news in Brazil. Terroristo. You'll find the same news en France. Il est un terroriste. You'll find the same news in England. Today we have just had an attack. Some terrorists linked to this organization. Now, that is the side that they don't want you to look at. That is the side that they hate the most. They don't want you to go near there. They don't want you to understand it. I will tell you to look there instead of looking at the same places again and again and again. People did this in the 60s, 1970s, 1980s. You're going to come back to the same place. Many famous people made so many videos, millions of views, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 5 years ago. People are coming and going, and many people are still stuck in the same position. Yeah, they lied. Yes, they've done this. Okay, who were they fighting against? Who are they lying against? Why are they using this mathematics? Who is exposing their mathematics? Who is against them? Look there. Now, I've already made it clear which side of the world is against them. Now, it's up to people. If people want to look for it, they know where to look. It's not in China. It's not in India. It's not in the United States. When Moses came to save the people, he came for the poor people. When Jesus Christ came, he was with the poor people. Now, the thing is, go amongst the poor people of the world. They've got more conspiracies than we've got in our side of the world. And as Donald Trump already said, they hate us, the people in power. It's them. Go to their books and look in their knowledge, and you'll find it very easily.
But David, again, I'm just being the news reporter. I mean, why are all these buildings saying they're built in 1890, 1910, 1905? Why would they lie about that, Dave? That doesn't make any sense. They're not going to lie to everyone about that.
Tell you why they lied. Okay. They're lying about technology. Now, who is their opposition? What does the opposition say? Do you want to know what the opposition says? There's technology. The opposition says there's teleport. You know, like right now, my voice transports to you. This is in the internet. It comes within a second. On the internet, I can send you photographs. Yes. Now, teleportation means that you can move your body from America to England within a second. You understand? Within a second, or within the blinking of an eye, you can travel from the United States to England. Yes. Now, this is the information and the history they're hiding. Now, the thing is, it's hidden for us in our side of the world. But who said that people in the other side of the world don't know this history already? The Quran already tells you this, and the Muslims already know. This is why Donald Trump is correct. Islam hates us. He's right. Islam declares they're hiding this history. Islam has said this technology is there. Islam has said that people use this technology to do construction in the past. Islam has said that there were stations for water stations and other type of stations, and how the construction of the church is made, and how they made these rib arches and these cathedrals and all these great amazing buildings. Yes, all of it says this. It's already in the Quran. So the thing is, we in the West are behind. 90% of the Western people, we don't know this history. 90% of the Muslims already know. Go and ask them. And they'll say, okay, they'll hide it from you. If you stop a Muslim on the street and say, is there a conspiracy? Is it a lie, all this history? They'll try and hide it, because the thing is, they're afraid. Yeah. But if you go to their countries, they're going to openly turn and say, what are you talking about? We already know this. It's in our Quran. This is they already know. They
already know that these buildings have been here for a very long time.
Yes, they already know. It's in their Quran.
And do they know the same thing about, the like, just say, for instance, the San Francisco fire, quote unquote fire? Do they know out there that that's an American fabrication? That is a stage set in a sense.
You mentioned the San Francisco fires. Because you're going to mention one. How many of these great fires were there? around the world. How many?
How many what? Sorry?
19th century. How many fires were there?
I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe it was every major city in America burnt down. I mean, they burnt it down or did something. In my opinion, it was direct energy weapons. It was not a fire.
The civil wars and all the fires in Europe and all these wars in the 19th century in Europe and in Asia, in India, in the Middle East, in Southeast Asia. How many is there? Several thousands. Yes?
Yeah.
I'm including the ones in Europe. You can't just choose San Francisco and ignore the fire that happened in Izmir.
No, I was just asking a specific question. That's all.
Because it's wrong.
No, I'm asking you if the other country, the country, if Islam, if they know about the American, yeah.
Everybody knows the Muslims have a problem with the rest of the world. We all know this.
Okay.
We're all pretending. We all know that the Muslims are saying that the world is lying about the history. We all know this. I'm not talking modern Islam. Ignore that. I'm saying we all know this. The Muslims say it because it says it in their book called the Quran. The Quran already tells you this. Now, when you talk about one place, the Quran says they're lying about every place. And then it tells you travel the world, go and check. By the way, the Quran makes a commandment. This is a commandment in Islam. I can't believe this. He says, go and travel and go and see the world. What happened? And then you will know who's telling the truth and all the lies. And
yeah, because these types of structures are everywhere. And that's the thing. A lot of people don't even realize that.
So that's why when you said, if I had, 5 minutes, so I'm going to make it clear. Now, the Muslims have been successful for several centuries now. Generation after generation, they teach their children to memorize this book and do not let go of the information of this book because they know the world is even trying to change what this book says. It tells you about the lies in history and the science, and then it tells you who's doing what. Do you know what the Quran actually says? The Bible says Pharaoh got drowned. Many Muslims don't know this. Yes, but it turns out says God drowned Pharaoh. He drowned. And then when he drowned, after he drowned, he prayed to God and said, God, please forgive me. And then it says God saved him. Now, the Muslims try to change this with their priests and their history and everything. And the West tries to change it as well, Western history, that Muslim priests are part of the conspiracy. So don't trust Muslim priests or Muslim history books. They're all lying. The Quran, guess what it says? This is why you'll find ancient Egyptian symbols in many of these things, like the one eye that they're holding out, the eye of Horus. Yes, the Quran tells you that God saved Pharaoh. And then it doesn't say where he went. It says God saved him. That he drowned. The Quran, some people try and say it's two stories in the Quran. No, it says it clearly that Pharaoh and the boys thought they were bad. So God dealt with them and they drowned. And then he prayed and then God saved him. God saved him and then he was saved. We don't know where he went. And then do you know what the Quran says? Many people say the Illuminati are drinking blood. There's my book, Skull and Bones. It goes through this, that the Illuminati and other people drink blood, and the rich and the wealthy, because blood can actually help you to live longer. Many people don't know this, but blood can actually, once you grow old, it changes your blood cells if you regularly drink blood. Yes, within a few months or a few years, your skin becomes young again. You can look like you're age 18 from age 70.
Yeah, audience, we know this, man. And a lot of the elite are doing that.
Now the thing is, the Quran tells you, many of these people, God has, it doesn't tell you this in the Bible. It tells you everything about the world order. Now, the thing is, this is why Islam must go for the new world order to succeed. And the New Testament must stay for the new world. Yes. Now, the Quran actually tells you that God, by the permission of God, by the will of God, that God has extended their lives so that they can live longer. They're living longer, these people. The Quran tells you. Now, the thing is, and then the Quran tells you that Pharaoh survived. Yes. Now, if Pharaoh survived, people don't understand what's going on, why the New Testament came from the land of Pharaoh. Why modern Islam? Oh, by the way, modern Islam and the Quran was compiled in Egypt. This is another story. And then The modern Quran manuscripts were compiled in Egypt by the British, the Vatican, and the French. But the Quran was already memorized by the Muslims before then, because the Muslims knew that this was going to happen. But now many Muslims who are born in the West in America, or I know some Muslim friends who live in Manchester. Many of these people don't know this. And I tell them, and they say, oh my God, is this true? I said, don't believe the manuscripts. These manuscripts were compiled and put them there. Like there's a guy in America called Dave Woods, and he's screaming saying, Muslims, this is their manuscripts. Look at this, look at that. And I've told people, hey, it's not Muslim manuscripts. The British put them there. With the Vatican, British Empire days, they went in there with guns. It's same like the Chinese walking into New York Library and they kill everybody in the library, and then they put manuscripts there and say, this is a genuine American United States history. You must believe this.
You're right.
But now, 100 years later, 200 years later, the Muslims don't know. They think, hey, this is our museum, but they don't know. Yeah, these things. And the thing is, many people will say, what about these ayatollahs and these crazy Muslim governments and this communist government in China? Let me tell you something now. Imagine tomorrow they've got democracy governments in Iran, in Iraq, in Egypt, in Pakistan, in Afghanistan. Do you know what's going to happen? The Middle East will be safe. And do you know what's going to happen? In China, they don't know how many people there is. I think there's 1.7 billion, and including Indians, yes, there's 2-3 billion people are going to think, hey, the Middle East is safe now. We can all travel through there. We don't want to live in what Donald Trump would call, he calls these poor countries shitholes. Yeah, Donald Trump calls them this, and they'll say, we don't want to live like this anymore.
Yeah.
We're all going to migrate to Europe or America. Do you see what's going on? If Iran tomorrow becomes a democracy and the people wake up and they get educated from this false Islam, this crazy Islam that's there, do you know what's going to happen? 100 million people will say, hey, I want to go live in Canada. I want to go live in France. I want to go live. So this is an advantage for people in this side of the world, because they're going to have to share their wealth and their services. If Egypt wakes up tomorrow, that's another 100 million people. Pakistan wakes up to freedom tomorrow, another 200 million people tomorrow. Pakistan gets rid of the Taliban or the US invasion force. The army attacked and entered Afghanistan on the 19th. People can check this. They stayed there for 19 years. Or the US bombing of Iraq started on the 19th. Yes, the bombing of Libya started on the 19th. People can check all these things. Yeah, World War One. What do you call it? Yes, the Zeppelins started bombing on the 19th. People can check all these things. The Zeppelins bombing England. These are all in my book.
Well, most people don't even know what Zeppelins are. That's the problem.
Oh, these Zeppelins, people talk about the old world balloon type of airplanes.
Yeah, airships.
Yeah, airships. Yeah.
No, that's what I mean. I just meant the masses, the masses. I mean, they don't even realize, they look at a Goodyear blimp. And people wonder why the Goodyear blimp looks like it's going 5 miles an hour. They want people to think that, the airships of the past only went that fast, so why would anyone use them? But in reality, airships went a lot faster than these Goodyear blimps do. We'll talk
about the airships next time. There's more to that, because the thing is, the moment you study the numerology, yes, and the maths and the Mahamat or the great maths, Mahamat, or once you study the Mahamat or the Muhammad of all these things, the great maths, then you understand it. I'm not talking religion here.
Yeah, of course.
In Egypt, they speak Arabic. Now, they're going to lie to us and say, oh, you can't understand these hieroglyphics because the ancient Egyptians, it was a different language. But the moment you go to the Bible and you think, hey, the Jews spoke Arabic for centuries. Hey, the ancient Egyptians, in Egypt, they speak Arabic. Why don't I try to translate these hieroglyphics using Arabic and try to understand these biblical prophecies in the original language, Arabic, that the Jews spoke? Then maybe I'll understand a bit more. But no, people are going to start believing these fake historians who said, no, it's Aramaic. Yeah, carry on believing these things. I'm not trying to deny Christ or anything. What I'm trying to say is, look, we're not going to get to the bottom unless if we turn around and think, hey, we go to the Middle East and they're telling us Christ spoke Aramaic, but the Jews spoke Arabic. The majority of the people speak there Arabic. And they've got their different dialects. You want to call one dialect Roman dialect or Rome or Aramaic. You want to call another one Egyptian dialect, another one Iraqi dialect. Be my guest. It seemed like you could start fighting saying Snoop Dogg does not talk American and Ice Cube speaks Australian.
All right.
And they could say, David speaks English. He does not speak Canadian.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
So,
Real quick, Dave, I wanted to finish with, I wanted you to tell people one last time where they can find you and how they can support and get your information.
Now, the thing is, I posted a video before, but it's not going to be around for long. My books, all the book sales, I gave the money to charity. I try to hide this. I'm not poor. I'm not out for PayPal, Patreon. People don't need to know about me. I'm going to say this. If anybody finds me, I'm an idiot. Yeah, when I was young, I might have had a few, the odd spliff. Yeah, I go out with my friends. I've cheated on girlfriends. I've slept around sometimes. You know what I mean? Yeah.
You're a human being of that has awakened and is growing. Yeah.
People are going to find me. They're going to turn around and think I'm no prophet. I'm nothing. I'm just a person. I've just done a bit of research. My books are there. If you're looking for the truth, I'm saying like them, I'm going to die. Yes. And the thing is, I hope my information helps you find the truth. Do I know everything? No. And do I want people to follow me? No. The facts are there. I wrote a few things, and the information I found. Now, the thing is, I've not put any opinions on my books. As you've noticed, I took a photograph from Google to show whatever I found so that people can research, because we all want to know why we're alive. Many of us are spending thousands of dollars on books, on many other things, because we want to know. And people are worried. So the thing is, that's why I wrote them in simple things, and I've got 20 books out there. Yeah, I'll probably write another 10. And then the thing is, I'm not looking for anyone to find me. That's it. And so far, I gave every penny to charity. Yeah, I made a video of it. Now, the thing is, next year I'm getting married. So the thing is, yeah, I might use a bit of money myself next year. But so far, I gave every penny to charity. Is because I found a lot of secrets. And then I realized that this is a war about ourselves and our souls. Oh, the war has got a lot to do with, sexual energy. I don't like speaking about this, so I'll talk about this next time, because I'm going to try to find moderate words. Stay away from from losing this energy. Now, this is something that you shouldn't lose. Okay? This is where I'll describe it to you. Superman 2, he's looking for kryptonite. That is to represent where he carries it in that part of the body. It's that same energy. Now, when Superman wanted to become a normal human being, and he was with the woman, Lois Lane, and he's making love, he's losing the energy. But then Superman wanted to return to become super, and he was called the son of Jor-El, or the son of Israel, or Israel. Yes, and Israel was selected by God. The Quran says this, and so does the Bible. Israel was selected by God. Now, the thing is, there's many more things. So the thing is, an advice I tell people is, from all the things, stay away from this type of pleasure. Yes, from playing around with it. Yeah, the thing is, so I'm just a normal person. Yeah. Have I ever scammed anybody? Yeah, I've scammed girlfriends, lied to them, saying I'm over here, I'm over there. I'm not going to lie.
You don't have to. You don't have to elaborate. We're all human. We've made mistakes in our lives, but you're a man that seems like you care about the truth, and it seems like you really do care about truth. And you did put
about the truth. I've separated the history. I've put them in books. And
that's what I mean. So everybody, let's wrap this up. Go and check out his books. Go take a look at the description and click on some of these books and take a look for yourself and do the research yourself. Don't believe David. Don't believe me. Don't believe anyone. Look at the information and then go ahead and do the research. Dave, I want to thank you. Stay with me 1 minute after we're off here, but I want to thank you once again for joining the Hibbeler Effect, and thank everybody.
The best book to start with, I'm just sending you a picture. The best book to start with is Ancient Egypt Did Not Exist. That is the best one to start with.
Let's do this last share here.
That's it.
And we'll find this book to show everyone. Okay, so this is the best book he says to start with, guys. I'll have this link, and I'll have your Mudflood book link in the description, and then you guys can look at the rest of his stuff on Amazon and pick and choose what you want to look at and research. So I want to thank you once again, Dave, for joining the show. Thank you, everyone, for joining the final version of the Hibbeler Effect for Season 1, and I can't wait for Season 2 after the Old World Order film is out. I will be starting Season 2, so we'll see you guys then. God bless, everyone.
Yeah, God bless everyone. Have a nice day.